Hello and welcome to the second part of the flying building tutorials. My name is Gabriel, and today we're gonna start applying some texture on the building and make some compositing. First, we need to make some adjustments on the building. We need to make the roof. In order to do that, we're gonna duplicate the bottom of the building and make a separate uh, vertices, let's say, object, and we're gonna move it a separate object, and we're gonna move it on the top of the building. We're gonna try to position it as much as we can, as good as we can. Okay, after we put it in the right place, let's go in edit mode and try to apply some look cuts to make the balcony, to make the place on the top of the balcony. We're gonna apply two loop cuts. We're gonna position it accordingly to the balcony position, and then we're gonna extrude those parts in the exterior. Let's do the same thing to the second balcony. Control R to make the loop cut, and with the mouse drag it accordingly to your needs. Okay, let's try to make a better position for the vertices. Sorry, vertex, it's in Romanian. In English is vertice. And same thing with the second one. And then select them and extrude them on the y-axis. Place them as good as you can. Let's go to wireframe view. Okay, same thing with the other one. I need to say from the beginning that in order to make this tutorial under 1 hour, in this tutorial there are gonna be some parts when I'm gonna leave a time lapse to spare some time, but I hope you can keep up with this tutorial, and please leave me comments on the YouTube. Okay, I extrude them on the z-axis, the all vertices from the base. I need to undo the array modifier because we don't need this here. Then we grab those vertices extruded and we're gonna make the end of the building, the top part of the building. Okay, then we're gonna go. I need to say where I got the texture from cgtexture.com. I'm gonna leave the link description below for all the texture that I use. I'm not gonna show you what there are. Okay, you're gonna find them below the video. Now we go to edit mode, and we're gonna start to apply some texture for the building. First we need to apply some texture for the middle part of the walls. I find concrete texture on the CG texture. You're gonna see it in a moment. First we need to select those parts of the walls. Then we go to materials menu and create new material. We're gonna call it concrete, assign this material. Then we need to unwrap those faces. First we need to go to UV editor, then smart UV unwrap. We're gonna open the texture. This is texture that I use, concrete bear. I don't know the number, 31312 something. Doesn't matter anymore. Anyway. Then we're gonna make some arrangements with these unwrap faces. This is a repeatable process, so I'm gonna start the time lapse. I just grab and move those vertex accordingly to the texture size. See you on the other side. Okay, welcome back. We now go to node editor to apply the texture accordingly to the UV coordinates. So we need to add a texture coordinate and image texture and connect them accordingly. Now we go to the preview to see how it was unwrapped. It was unwrapped quite well, in my opinion. Not perfect, but okay for our needs. I think it's okay. Okay, let's jump to the next part of the worlds that are need to be texture. So let's jump to solid view. Okay. Next are the bottom and the top part of the walls, which we're gonna apply a plaster texture, which I find it also on CG texture. First, let's select the faces that we are interested in. Okay, now after we finish to select the faces that we are interested in, let's go to materials menu and repeat the process on texturing. Let's create a new material. Let's call it plaster. White plaster, I call it here. Let's hit assign. Then go to UV editor, UV unwrap hue, and smart UV. I'm not quite satisfied. Let's try something else. Unwrap no. Cube projection. Yeah, I think it's okay. Let's upload let's open our texture. Plaster colored, let's call it no, texture 54456. Anyway, okay. And as I did with the previous texture, I'm gonna leave it on time lapse in order to spare some times to make this tutorial under 1 hour. So watch it and see you on the other side. Welcome back. We finish to unwrap. Now go to node editor, add a texture coordinate and an image texture, open the plaster texture, then connect the UV coordinates to vector and color to color accordingly. Then go to render preview to see how this was mapped. And we have some issue, as I see here. Let's jump to solid view to identify which faces are not mapped correctly. Open the UV image editor again, then go to solid view and select that face. Okay, now grab that face and scale it. Let's switch to render preview to see how much we need to scale this face. Okay, I think it's enough. Okay, so we finish this part of the wall also. Let's switch on the array modifier to see how it looks all building. It looks okay, in my opinion. Now we're gonna try to texture the top of the building, the object that let's make a quick render to see how it is rendered. That's necessary, but okay, we are satisfied, or I am satisfied the way it looks till now. Let's jump to 3D view, switch to solid view, and go to object mode, tab, select the top part of the building, tab to jump to edit mode, and let's try to apply some texture. Select the edge of the object. Okay, and try to make to give it the plaster texture material. I hated the sign. I don't understand. We didn't unwrap it, so we need to UV unwrap first in order to work. U and I don't know, Q projection. Scale it and jump to render view to see how it looks. Lovely. I'm gonna make some changes with my light. I'm gonna try to make those shadow a little sharper. I'm gonna use a HMA light, I think so. I'm satisfied the way it looks. I repeat, you don't need to do it the same. It's only my choice. also will reposition the light. And I try to see how it looks. Excuse me. My dry throat. We need to apply a texture for the top face of the roof. We're gonna apply the concrete texture material on this face also. We're gonna separate this thing. What I did try to do here is to make a vertical wall between in the middle of the building. That it will help us when we're gonna cut some we're gonna cut the building. It's gonna leave not gonna leave holes in the building. That is the purpose of this middle wall. So I duplicate the top object. I go to edit mode and I reposition it in the middle of the building. I'll try to put it in the right place. Okay, after I did that, I'll give a render preview to see if I did something wrong. No, it was okay till now. I will jump to solid view. And I'm gonna make a copy for all objects in the scene. I did that because I'm not sure if when I start to cut from the building, if something goes wrong, I can go to the original object. So I make all objects. For all jobs, I make copy and I move it to another layer. Now, I think I'm gonna apply it all these modifiers. First, I need to go to object mode. Now hit apply. Now jump to edit mode, and now we have vertices for whole building. I try to think how I gonna cut the building. First, I select the interested area. And let's select all the vertices in that are corresponding this floor, and I think I'm gonna apply those mirror modifiers because that's the only way I can do what I want to. I think so. I don't know. You tell me if you know other way to do that. Please let me know. Let's go to object mode and apply the mirror modifiers, and hit apply for the X axis also. Now go to edit mode, front view, and with the B from box selection, and with the scroll we deselect those vertices that we're not interested in, separated from the original object. Okay, deselect those vertices also. Then hit P to separate selection. Now go to object mode and select the new object that we just made and move it to see how we cut through this building. It was cut okay, let's say. Give a render preview to see how it's looking. The texture are looking okay. They are not suffering from this cutting. Let's hit some undo to cut the top building also. Accordingly to, let's apply the mirror first, but we need to go in object mode also. Hit apply for both mirror modifiers, then go to object mode, edit mode, select the area that we are interested in, the half of the building, and hit P, separate selection. Now we had two individual parts of the top building. Okay, let's hit undo and select both parts of the building that we need to move, and let's move it together. Try to position it, the camera, in order to see the building. We need to remember that we're gonna model another building, so we need to have place for both of them. So we need to place the camera accordingly. We'll make some adjustments with the camera view. Try different angles till we find something we like. If we are not satisfied the way we move the camera, we can modify the point that the camera is looking at. If you remember that camera have a constraint dump track, so we can select the empty that is looking at and move it, and the camera, we're gonna look at that empty. Now we need to make a bottom part for the part of the building that we cut. So we duplicate the top of it, position it on the bottom. Go to edit mode and delete the vertices that we are not interested in. We don't need those vertices on the top. So select them and hit X, delete vertices. Now go to object mode and position it as close as possible to the building. And go to render preview to see how it looks. Look okay, but we need to apply some texture on it. We're gonna apply the same concrete texture. In order to do that, we need to unwrap it. So hit A to select all, unwrap. Then let's jump to render preview to see how this is. First, we need to assign a material. So assign .concrete material on it. Okay. Now we need to go to render preview, and we're gonna scale the UV unwrap accordingly to our needs. When you are happy with what you see, you can stop. I repeat, this is only my taste. You don't have to do it like me. We're gonna drag it the middle wall that we created till the end of the building in order to hide all the missing faces of the building in the middle of the building. Try to position it as good as you can. After, we're gonna position it. Okay. After that, let's jump to edit mode and apply a loop cut. We're gonna use this loop cut in order to map the texture accordingly to the place that is only C. Control R and make a loop cut. Drag it to position it accordingly. Put it on the right place. Now jump to face mode. Select the face that we're gonna unwrap. Okay. Now let's open the texture. It's a wall texture, an unplastered wall. In order to do that, we need to create a new material. We're gonna call this wall, assign, and now we need to go to node editor in order to apply this texture coordinates and image texture. Connect them accordingly. First open the texture, the image texture, connect the color not generated but UV. Okay. Okay. Now let's jump to UV editor to match the the UV wrap accordingly to our needs. Okay, after we did that, we need to rotate it. Rotate around the X 90 degree. 90 degree. I think is minus 19 degree. Minus 90 degree. Minus 90 degree. Okay. I'm quite satisfied the way this UV texture is applied. I want to give it some depth, so I gonna drag the color into displacement. This is the easy way and not the correct method, let's say, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I think it's okay. Okay, I give it a render preview to see how it looks. Save it, don't forget to save it. I don't need to remember you that sometimes Blender crash unexpectedly, so you lose all of your work. So make a habit to save some time. I don't say that Blender is not a good software. In my opinion, it's very good software, being open source, being developed continuously. But let's go back to the tutorial. I select a part of the building, I separate it, I quite repeat those steps that I did for the first part. Okay, I will try to make some small adjustments for this part of the building. I'm gonna separate these parts and I'm gonna apply when I duplicated the top part of the building, go to front view to position it accordingly. In edit mode, we're gonna delete the vertices that we're not interested in. Go to airframe mode and delete the bottom one. X, delete vertices. Okay, and position it on the top of the hole that it made in this building. Try to put it as good as you can. And when you are happy, hit render preview to see how it looks like. Looks okay, in my opinion. Let's go to solid view and duplicate it and make a bottom one with the same object. Put it as good as you can. Now go to render preview and see how it looks. It looks okay, not perfect, but okay. Okay, now that we are finished, let's say first building. Let's try to position the camera in order to make place for the second building. And as I mentioned earlier, in order to make some to make this tutorial under 1 hour, I'm gonna jump to fast modeling. The steps are almost the same. Try to watch the time lapse to try to understand how did I do it, but in general is the same steps that I did for the first building. So see you in a minute. Okay, welcome back. We finish the modeling for the second building. Now we try to make some cables that are hanging on the buildings. In order to do that, we create a bevel curve, Bezier curve, sorry, and I'm gonna try to position it on the edge of the first building, first part of the cable. Let's see. We try to position it in the middle of the top view. Then jump to edit mode and try to grab those handles and try to give it a natural habit of a hanging cable. Try to leave the gravity to do his job. Okay. In order to give it some bevel, we need to create a circle, and on the bevel object we need to select this circle and scale it 0.1, jump to first layer to see how it looks. It's big, still big. Need to scale it. 0.1. Go to first layer. See it how it looks. I think it's still big. Let's render. So yeah, I think it's big for a cable. If we consider the height of one floor, so we need to go to solid view and try to scale it, this circle again, scale it 0.1 again, and jump to first layer to see how it looks. I think it looks okay now. Okay, let's give it a material. Let's assign it a black color. Okay, and hit assign. I think I don't have the right object selected. Let's select the. Okay, now we have the right color on the right object, and we're gonna do the same with the other cables. Shift D, duplicate this bezier and try to position it accordingly to the other places. Okay, so now we have the cables. Let's save it. Okay. Now we're gonna add a particle physics. I'm gonna model a bird. I have this reference from internet. I'm gonna leave the link below. It's gonna speed modeling. It's not the purpose of this tutorial to make organic modeling. So try to keep up with it. It's not a very good model, but it's something that we can use to give some details in our final render, let's say. Okay, I apply some modifiers. I try to use the background references in all direction, in front, top and left, right view. Okay, after we are satisfied with our model, I'm gonna apply the same material for a black material like the cables. It's gonna be a crow, or I don't know, something, a blackbird, let's say, and we're gonna verify the silhouette of the bird to see if it looks okay. I'm quite satisfied with it. I'm gonna duplicate it two times actually. In the end we're gonna have 3 birds, one in this resting pose and one with the in the posing that a bird is flying, like with the wings up, and the other one with the wings down, to give some variety on the particle birds. Okay, let's verify the silhouette. Yeah, we're happy. I'm happy with it. Then we're gonna create a group with it. And we're gonna make a plane, position it on the center of the grid. First cursor to center, then select it to cursor, scale it 10 times, and then apply particle physics, particle system. Then on the physics we select voids and hit Alt A to see how the voids are moving on our plane. Then we're gonna on the render option we uncheck emitter. We don't need to render the plane, and check the group and select our group, and now we have the birds in our on our plane. After that I gonna move this plane to first layer where our buildings are. First I hit render preview to see how it looks. Now I'm gonna move it to first layer to see how it, to position it accordingly to our needs here. First we need to scale this plane, and I wanna grab it in the back of the buildings, because if we leave it like this, it's possible to have strange behavior of the particle system. We can have some birds coming from the building, so it will not gonna look natural. So we place it behind those buildings, and after that we jump to first frame, and I'm gonna delete the references photos that I used to model the birds, and jump to first frame and hit Alt A to play the animation again and see what's going on. Check the render preview to see. It takes a little bit more to render. Okay, I think we have too much particle, too much birds in our scene. In order to do that, we need to decrease the number. So go to number there, go to solid mode, solid view, and try to let's reduce the number like 100, and hit it Alt A again and see how are behaving. Let's choose Fusey for the intelligence of the void. Let's delete the separate behavior and add follow the leader. Hit empty to act like a place for a leader. Then select the particle system and select our empty. And now we're gonna hit Alt A for the particles to first flag and then to follow the leader, and choose a frame that we are happy with how it looks. Let's go to render preview to see it how it looks. Let's place it a little bit in the left and a little bit down and on the left, and a little bit higher. Go to first frame and hit Alt A again and wait for voice to come. When we are happy with the frame, we stop it and we use that as a reference. I'm happy with this frame, I think. Okay. Next step, we're gonna make some compositing. We go to node editor, check the use nodes. Add the viewer node, connect it on a new node, and I'm gonna use in the viewer on the UV editor to see the viewer node. We need to render again. After we render, we need to jump to node editor again. Oops, I make some mistake. First, we need to select the camera and check the mist. This is the feature that I speak about it in the first part. In order to check the mist pass, you need to have the 2.7 version of the Blender. Then go to the world settings, and on the mist pass you have some settings. You can choose from where to start the mist and where to end. After we did that, we need to hit render again. Okay, I'm gonna jump for some steps that I make wrong. I add a color ramp to use as a factor of our mist. Connect the Z pass. No, I think we need to connect the mist pass. Okay, then you need to work with the color in order to choose the factor of the mist that we're gonna have in the final render. Okay, I added the image texture. I'm gonna add the RGB node, mix them together, and then mix it with the render layer. And the color ramp act as a factor, as how much as a factor those two layers are mixed together. When we are happy with the finished result, we can make the final render. Don't forget to save if the Blender gonna crash. That's almost it. Thanks for watching. My name is Gabriel. Hope to find this helpful. If you have any question, if you like it or don't like it, leave me comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you on the next tutorial. Bye.